welcome FlipClock fans. I was digging around on eBay and I saw this 849 Seth Thomas Retro Space Age automatic wall flip roller speed read clock. And they wanted $44.99 or best offer, so I shot them an offer of $24.99, being the smart aleck that I am, and they accepted the offer. Catalog number 849, SR means speed read battery wall clock. This is an advertisement from 1972 showing the clock. Now they sold it because it wasn't working, they said. So we got it in the studio and there it is working. So we got it working again. I'm going to show you how we did that today. This is a Copal Model 227 for comparison. And I'll tell you, when I saw that on eBay, I thought it was a small clock. I really did until I got it. I couldn't believe it. I didn't pay much attention, so it's pretty huge. It's a good sized clock. So the first impressions are this clock looks to be in pretty good shape. You can tell it's been used. It's got a few scratches. Catalog 849, speed read battery wall. Just don't leave a dead battery in there. So put a battery in and that wasn't the problem. The compartment was clean. We're going to take it apart and see what's going on. We've got 4 screws that need to come out. They're deep in there, those holes there. The other screws being the mechanism screws. And I didn't need to take that off at all. Longish screws there to get this case off. It lifts right off. You see a few scratches, but otherwise in good shape. So I got this off and took a look to try to figure out, well, what was going on with this clock. You look at that and you say, well, we've got a little motor on top there with a worm gear, and then we've got this little thing here. And I thought, what is that? Is that a fuse? So here's our compartment. We can see that the negative is the blue wire, and the positive touches this case. They welded the positive right there on the case. Goes there, but the blue goes through that tube. I thought it was a fuse. So the blue, the negative wire goes through. I checked it, there was no continuity. So I thought, well, blown fuse, but it's not a fuse. I'll try to explain. I'm not sure exactly what you call these, but if you watch here on this clock, when we get it moving, you're going to see a bar move that is going to approach that tube. So a part of that bar, and I think that's probably a magnet on the end of the bar, will approach that tube. And I checked it with my voltage tester. You see that bar came through, and as soon as that comes to that bar, it sends the 1.5 volts through that motor up there for just as long as that bar is close to it. So the clockwork mechanism moves the bar, touches that, and obviously it completes the circuit. Some kind of magnetic driven thing. I've never seen one of those before, but what we're dealing with here is a clockworks here. So the clockworks there's the balance wheel going back and forth. That's what moves the bar close to that tube. And as long as it's near that tube, it sets that off for a specified amount that's specified by the gearing. You'll see it move here in just a second. And I think it also winds the clock. So the spring gets wound by that worm gear. So it flips, it keeps the clock wound. It's very interesting. So you look at this and say, well, what was wrong with it? What was wrong? So I used this magic tool I've got here. You might have one of those. It's a finger, and I took it and I just got that the balance wheel moving manually, and then it would slow down and stop, and I did that several times. And it seems like the gears must have been a little bit stiff or needed to be oiled or to moved a little bit. And that got the clock working just fine. So it probably was put up for some time. I think it was an estate sale they got. But anyway, we've got the clock now. It's working fine. And it's going to be a permanent part of the FlipClockFans Studios collection of just curious clocks. Well, I hope you'll rejoice with me on this little find. We got lucky on this one. So it's not going to end up in a box in the basement like some of the other clocks I got off eBay. Thanks for taking the time.